Yo, what's going on? It's Turn 2 Podcast. I'm your boy, Coach Marcus, and we're back with another watch party. Today, I got an interesting one for us. We got Rob Manfred talks MLB's use of robot umpires and other rule changes on the Dan Patrick Show. Just to get started, this one's kind of interesting because I think what they're going to, and I haven't watched this at all yet, so I don't even know if it's interesting, if it's boring, sorry. But the use of robot umpires, man, I'm just going to tell y'all off the rip, I'm completely against it. I think that's going to take away from a lot of the baseball game and, like, what we train people to do. For example, pitchers being competitive just outside the strike zone, where we're not going to get a robo ump to call it, but if it looks good enough, a human umpire will bang that hitter out. Because 17 inches, however big a home plate is not a lot of room to work with. So pitchers need that real umpire behind them to kind of give them that leeway, say that's still a good pitch, I'm going to bang them out on that. Another thing I think of real quick is like catchers. We train catchers all the time in baseball today. Everybody's taught thumb under the ball, work up, work up, work up, work up. Bring that pitch that's low, bring it back into the strike zone. What's the point now? If you have robo umpires, what is the actual point of teaching guys to frame? There's none. There's no reason to even train our catchers to do that anymore. So again, we're just taking away things. Okay? Now we can allow hitters to be, with robo umpires, being extremely picky. Oh no, that's literally 3 centimeters off the plate. That's a ball. Come on, we all know in baseball world that's competitive. We need to protect that on 2 strikes and we need to be swinging. Okay, like we can't. I think if we bring robo umps into this, it's just going to cause problems. But anyways, that's enough talking. Let's see what these guys actually have to say. Let's get to it.
Commissioner of Major League Baseball since 2015, Rob Manfred, back on the program. We spent a lot of time yesterday talking about ABS, but I want to know, how did we land on robo-umps? I don't like the phrase. It conjures up something that I think needs to be explained.
Yeah, Dan, it's interesting. I was with a couple of my guys traveling yesterday, and I said exactly the same thing, and I've said it repeatedly. The fact of the matter is the system was designed in order to preserve kind of the management role of the home plate umpire. It's completely invisible to the fan, right? In terms of there's no device or anything on the field that they can see. And all of the calls, including correcting an erroneous ball strike call, made by a human being from the fan's perspective. So, we do prefer the term ABS to robo-umps.
Okay, this is an entertainment business.
I'm gonna pause right there. That's no way, shape, or form. I don't agree with nothing really that man just said. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think things like this is the reason sports overall is just tanking, because we're leaving everything up to robots. We're leaving stuff up to AI. Like we're taking away the human aspect of what made this a sport. Okay, so let's keep.
Anything on the Jumbotron, like tennis will show you if the ball was in or out. What is baseball going to do?
We are going to have a rendering on the scoreboard so that fans can see it. At the end of the day, it is about the fan experience in the ballpark. And our experience in the minor leagues, as well as the testing we did in the spring and at the All-Star Game, suggests that fans are really interested in seeing that rendering.
How do the umpires
I think they're interested in the challenges, not them overall.
I would say the umpires have been generally cooperative on the issue. It's always tough when you get corrected publicly, and I understand that. It is important to say, although we've taken this step, our umpires do a phenomenal job on the vast majority of calls, I think over time, this may reduce the amount of complaining we have about ball strike calls.
Okay, whenever I see something that we kind of dip our toes in and then all of a sudden we're in over our head, then this is going to be the future of Major League Baseball.
That's what I think.
How long will it take before this is the future?
That's an interesting question. I think that if you had talked just to the owners about this topic a couple of years ago,
I'm gonna
they
pause
would
this.
have been.
I mean, and as much stuff and grief as I give umpires for making terrible calls, I want that. I don't want the MLB to resort to just using robots. They talk about how it's for the fans and all this and that. I'm sorry, but for real baseball heads, you don't have to be a real baseball head. You just want to see humans making calls. And then they got into something about like the umpires are going to feel a type of way when they get corrected. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's their ego. And they're MLB umpires. You train them this hard for a reason. We don't need to be a perfect specimen. We don't have to have a perfect game. That's not what we want. We want there to be mistakes. We want there to be issues. I really am against this right now. So let's just keep going and see what.
In favor of calling every pitch, and we're certainly capable of doing that, calling every pitch with ABS. I think what made us take the intermediate step is we got a lot of input from players, particularly players who had used it in the minor leagues. They preferred the challenge system, that it preserved the human element in the game. At the major league level, we also got a lot of input about the significance of framing catchers and, individual players who have the skill set that could be really impacted by this. We took that input to heart and landed where we did. I think that we will see after the 26th season whether there's a push to go the whole way.
Please don't.
Why did we allow, as if it was part of the charm of baseball, that an umpire could have his own strike zone?
Yeah, going back to, when I first came to the commissioner's office in 1998, actually Sandy Alderson and I started the same day. And, one of the first things Sandy embarked on was an effort to get away from that notion that individual umpires could have their own strike zone. And we have dramatically increased the uniformity of the zone that's called by our umpires by having a computer-based system like ABS that we've been using to evaluate umpires for more than a decade. After each game, when they miss a call, they get that pitch, they have to log in and look at it, and it has produced greater uniformity.
Okay.
I love
but
that.
It's a charm.
Using it
that's
as like
Joe
a studying
West's
method.
strike
I
zone,
love
that's Eric
that.
Gregg's strike zone. Or
yeah, the problem is sometimes, you talk about people who are just too charming. I think there were games where that charm became excessive. I mean, I think Eric Gregg's game in the World Series is probably an example of that.
He's the commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred. Okay, give me the data to help me understand starting the 10th inning with the runner at second base.
Oh,
which
God.
I do detest.
Oh,
But
God.
where are we with that? Is that here to stay?
Please, no.
Well, look, the most important thing I can say to you is starting next week, you're going to have postseason baseball where you play it out no matter what. So your month is coming. It's going to be a great postseason, and we're going to play the games out to keep you happy, Dan. Look, I think that was interesting. I'm not sure that
I don't
was
like the way he beating around the bush.
top of my priority list in terms of rule changes, but it came with the COVID changes that we, felt we
This
needed
ain't
to
the
do
Little
to get
League,
through
bro.
the season.
This ain't Little League.
The players
This
really
ain't Little
liked it.
League, bro.
And
These
I
are
think the
MLB
push
$1 million
to keep
players,
it
bro.
was
We don't need
based
to put them
on
on
player
second base.
preference and avoidance of putting, really valuable players in positions of asking them to do something
Put
in
a
extra innings
10-year-old
that
on
they
base,
didn't
sure. Put a
ordinarily
10-year-old
do,
on base.
the outfielder
But these
pitching.
guys, 20, 30, 40 years old, man, the MLB players, they're making millions. You don't need to start them on second base.
The notion that the game it has to be quicker to be responsive to the audience that
We don't
serving
we don't
in
cater
today's
to
world.
real baseball players anymore. Or
These leagues are
baseball
becoming
fans.
highlight leagues. Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, said
cater
we're kind of
to
a highlight league.
People who just
How
want
do
to
you
watch on
guard
on
against
occasion.
that?
That's all we do.
just
We don't
being
cater
a
to the
highlight and
real
not
deal
the
fans.
experience of going
That's
to
the
a game
problem
and
with
watching the game.
sports.
I think we have a huge advantage in that effort, and it is an effort for all
wasn't even
sports.
listening.
I mean, you know how younger people consume things. We don't need to revisit that, but I think that our in-ballpark experience, largely due to the work of the individual teams and what they do in the stadiums, the entertainment they provide, the food and beverage options, what they do in between innings, is so good that it does create in people the desire to see the whole game, the whole product. And the fact that we play every day, also important in that regard. So we have some assets there, and it's something that we're really focused on.
When all the owners get together, how often does the topic of a salary cap come up?
All the time, bro.
You know, it's interesting. It really is episodic. You know, it's more frequent when you get closer to a labor year like we are now.
I don't like the way he tiptoed.
I think it's
around
natural
all
for people to discuss
I wish he would just
options
talk.
that are available.
Just say
I
what's
think
on your
what's
mind,
really
Rob.
important for me to say is, you know, we haven't decided what exactly our approach is going to be. We have a whole nother season to get through. And, you know, while obviously there's conversation, you know, it remains to be seen what substantive position the owners are going to take.
Where do you stand on it?
I think that it has been my view for a really long time that you sell competition to your fans, and that we need to always be looking for things that enhance the perception of the competition. And I think one way to do that is reduce and regulate the disparity in payrolls that you have.
I also want to make sure that, you know, the minimum spend, because some of these owners, they may not be spending as much as they need to. How do you?
I think that's one thing. Yeah, well, I think that's one thing that is widely misunderstood. You know, what people, the name of the mechanism that people use in the other three sports is a salary cap, but a necessary element of that system is a minimum as well as a cap. And I agree with you
floor and a
that
ceiling.
the minimum in some ways may be more important than the cap.
The Cal Raleigh story is a fun story, but how does baseball?
So
like
they
your
say that they
marketing
basically
arm,
some teams
how do you approach a story
are
like that to let
not
people know he's playing in Seattle,
using their resources the way they
he's
should
hit
be.
60 home runs, great nickname.
I agree
there.
with that.
How
I think they cut things
are
short.
you guys doing enough to promote some of these other stories?
Yeah, look, I think that it's really important with a story like Cal for Major League Baseball, in addition to the club, what the club is doing locally to promote that player.
Yeah, to kind of recap, the most important things I wanted to pull apart from that video was their first rule change was with the ABS challenges. I think we could challenge just fine. I think that's cool and all, but we can't have it more than that. I don't think we want to have the computer robot involved with more than, let's say, I would say honestly 5 to 10 pitches per game. Like, I don't want them to have any more say more than that. Everything else, I would like the human being to make the call. Okay. I think one thing that he brought up was like too many umpires have too many different strike zones, or we're not consistent across the board. You're not baseball. I mean, besides like, you know, having that box on TV, when you're growing up playing the game, nothing's consistent. And I get that you might want some consistency, but like, as far as I could tell, all these umpires that are getting brought up and umpiring the MLBs and college and independent leagues and all these minor leagues, stuff like that, they're halfway decent with staying over the 17 inches, give or take some. I don't see too many people saying, all right, one umpire's from the chest to the knees, the other umpire's from the belly button to the feet, the other one's from the top of the head to the chest. Like, no one's really doing that in MLB. Like, everybody is more so in the same realm, just maybe one ball here, one ball here, one ball there, one ball there. That's it. So I don't think that that's a good enough excuse for us to say, hey, we need to go straight robot. And I get it. History has told us that human beings will blow calls. Human beings will blow the situation. I get it. Human beings are emotional. I get it, but that's part of the game. That's part of the game. Okay? And I don't want to take that away. We already take away so much from the game already with how we present baseball to the world, of how it should be played. I think we already take away so much from that and keep it so one-dimensional, just one-way street, home runs, fast pitchers, just go. I think that you take away just something else that makes baseball baseball. I think ultimately you're heading in the wrong direction. Again, I think that they're more tending to the average to below average fan, which is majority of people, fine. But then you got your real baseball heads that are actually going to be there all season long, that will actually get the season tickets, that will actually be at one or like locked in and know where they're at in the wild card race or blah blah blah. Like those fans are ultimately getting screwed, I believe. Okay. The second thing that they talked about was, what was the second thing? Second thing they talked about was runner at second base. Okay, extra innings runner at second base. Nah. You go ahead and throw that in the trash. Crumple it up, throw it away in the trash, because that is booty. Okay, that is terrible. Okay, that needs to stay in youth baseball. That is it. I see it as a runner on second base. We're using this to help speed up the game in extra innings so we can meet, so other games can play. Okay? I think we're good with extra innings. Nobody on, nobody out. Pitcher, go do your thing. I think we're good there. Again, stop trying to change baseball. Okay? Just leave it be. This is the professionals. Leave it. Okay? Other than that, I mean, that it was a straight video. I felt like he was really beating around the bush quite a bit. I like the interviewer. The interviewer seems like he's tired of the BS too. He wants direct answers. He's tired. He's sitting back like, I'm tired of this. Like, we don't want to watch this. Okay? But hey, that's it for me. I'm your boy, It's your boy, Coach Marcus. My bad. This is Turn 2 Podcast. I'm out.